it's actually a policy to not educate young Israelis and Palestinians about their history in a way that isn't biased, in a way that is complex. It's an education towards a certain ideology. For Israelis, is Zionist ideology, and for Palestinians, it's also Zionist ideology. But as we can see, that leads us to a continuous violent conflict and continuous threat over our safety, both as Jews and Palestinians. So we see that we need to tackle that in our education for us to really be able to um, find a just solution that will be based on equality and on human rights. Education must be a very huge part of it. When young people live in a reality that is so violent and so hopeless for such a long time, they also lose the ability to believe that anything different can actually be. They just they can only imagine the continuous current violent reality, and because this is what the media and the politicians only offer them. So a very huge part of our work is, first of all, we work on resilience and trying to provide tools to the young people that we work with to deal and to preserve themselves and their identities and their hope. And at the same time, to being able to imagine and talk about what is their vision for the future, how things should be. Because if no one is ever talking about the vision of how the future should look like, then we don't have any basis on which we can build on. Then once a solution is found, then it could be a sustainable one and one that takes into account uh, all the groups and identities and not only one side. And so we have a very strong basis in Sadaka Re'ut of how to deal with um, a situation where young people are deprived of their basic rights, how to deal with discrimination, racism, how to deal with hatred, how to deal with violence. And so we just realized even more how important our work is. There's still a willingness from the Jewish frameworks and participants to continue the work with us. Um, and I think it's because people just need to be able to, they want to be offered some kind of solution and vision that is more hopeful than continuous violence. And I can say that for the Jewish society in Israel, most of the time dealing with the issue of um, being of Palestinians that are here in the public space, that is a part of life here. It was something they could just ignore, and then people realized that okay, something needs to be done. And I think also now there is a group here in Israel that understood how the wrongdoings of their government in a very strong way, and they want to find ways to resist it. I think this is something that is very important in Sadaka Re'ut, that we are a binational organization at our very core, and we talk about these things all the time. And so it's allowing me as a Jewish Israeli to still be able to talk about these issues, because we don't see it as a Palestinian issue. We see it as a societal political issue that we are all committed to solving and to battling. As a Jewish Israeli, I see a very big importance to the international community. And I think that we learned in our history, we continuously learn about the Second World War and the Holocaust and how the world remained silent. And I think it's ironic that today Israel is putting so much effort into silencing every critical voice there is towards its policies, and wrongly accusing any kind of criticism towards the government policy as anti-Semitism, while it's supposed to be so clear to us that a true democracy can only be maintained when there is criticism, when there are people that could be whistleblowers that would say that some wrongdoings should not occur. And so I think that in each person, in the way that she or he can, should express themselves and try to bring the critical information to the people around them and to influence people that eventually go and vote um, and have some kind of even small influence on their government.